Yeah, it's pleasing to know that you think I'm not that long out of school. It's kind of pleasing. I'm feeling quite old these days. No, I mean, I went to school in the north of Ireland, in Belfast, and we certainly, in our history lessons, we covered First World War and the Second World War. I didn't listen a great deal, I have to admit, at that time. And this particular episode within Second World War, no, I'd never heard of it before. I mean, even Sean was saying your history of the Second World War is quite extensive, and you weren't immediately aware of this particular period. So, I learned of Operation Anthropoid was when I read the script, and was blown away by it, and the fact that a story of that magnitude can exist and you not know about it, I find kind of fascinating. Playing a real person, I think as an actor you're sort of desperate to do that when you can, if it's a story that moves you. It's also great in terms of there's something real there to draw upon, and you can dig up as many facts to try to shape the character as best you can, and you don't often get that opportunity with characters who are fictional. So I'm often drawn towards that. So yeah, it just felt like a very important story to be told, and one that I wanted to be involved in, and I'm a massive fan of Sean's work as well, so that helped that he was the person at the helm of such a great story.
Got a question for Jamie, please. What was it in particular about the script that caught your imagination, and how do you view what your character did in 1942?
I think when I first read the script, the fact that I didn't know about the story, I found, as I said before, I found that kind of mad that something could happen that had such a massive knock-on effect to, an entire nation, and to not have known about that, I found kind of mad. The heroism involved, the sacrifice involved, similar to what Sean was saying, that they felt, and Jan, particularly to me, because that's what I was reading for. Yeah, it felt like someone you could actually relate to, like guys who were fighting for something that they truly believed in, but were guys. They were normal guys. They had family, that were being massively affected by what was happening. You always need a drive in everything you do, and a reason to tell the story. I think as an actor, you've got to have something that drives you every day on set. And I mean, could there be any stronger drive needed than the opportunity to assassinate someone so horrific? I mean, and nobody can there's nobody in the world who can't see Heydrich as evil. At the time there were lots of people who didn't see it as evil, but now, so to have that, to bring that to work every day, I'm so excited about the idea of like having that as being your drive. I'm terrified of how I'm going to behave actually now on set, knowing that. Look, people have different ways and means of researching characters and getting into the mindset of whoever they're going to play. Sometimes you do things that you feel are right to embody a character, and sometimes you push limits, and and everyone has their own approach to it. And it can always be different. The way I prepared to play someone like Spectre in The Fall, you take yourself to dark places, and you find out a lot about yourself that maybe you don't always want to find out, and it's quite an interesting process. But for this particular project, I don't think I have to go to those similar kind of places. I think there's things about Jan that will make sense to me more personally than having to really dig too far. He is a man with a mission to carry out, and it's a mission for the right reasons. It's not someone like Spectre who is murdering people for, there's no good reason to murder someone. I mean, there's not. But if you are, no, I was going to say, yeah, this is murder in a sense, but it's for a greater good. essentially, and he very much feels like that. Jan and Joseph both feel like that, and so that you're driven for different reasons, and I feel that Jan's the closest character I've played to myself, so that means that there's parts of the research that I've done for other characters that don't need to be done, that don't make sense, just as long as you have very strong idea of why they were doing what they're doing and who they are in the situation at the time, I think is enough.
And to Jamie, is the fact you came from Belfast influence on your attraction to the story, and how the preparation and the research influence on your attitude to the Holocaust, or on yourself as well?
Yep. So of course, I'm from Belfast in Northern Ireland, which is part of the world that is for far too long, not so much these days, thank God, sorry, who did I think? We've dealt with conflict on a huge level, and dealt with injustice, and dealt with divide, and I think that does colour you as an individual if you're from a part of the world like that, and I think you maybe have a slightly more of an understanding with other parts of the world who have experienced the same, maybe. No association with this film changes my view on the Holocaust. What can you say? It's, beyond my... It's just unfathomable how horrific that is, and what happened was. I guess to be able to depict what happened and have play a character who had some kind of a say over it is kind of ultimately pleasing. What I said earlier about the motivation, what more do you need motivation wise, and to get the chance to, at least at work, get to assassinate the person who was given, mastermind of the final solution. I mean, I get angry about it sitting here now. I could break those bottles if I wanted to, maybe. I won't.
I'd like to ask Jamie if you have had a chance to go to any of the locations in Prague where these real events happened, and if so, if they've made any impression on you.
I can't wait. I haven't been. I've just finished another movie last week, and I arrived here today. I have to fly back to London today, but I'll be back next week. And I know. I mean, I can't wait to see all the places, because I think really helps to give you an idea, and get to the crypt and see the bullet holes and see. That's a big help. So. I'm looking forward to that, but I haven't had a chance to yet. No.
Hi, question for Jamie. When you're looking at playing a character who's one of the greatest Czech national heroes, what kind of things are you looking for as an actor to sort of bring that character back to earth and make him approachable to audiences and bring him, tangible flaws? These things that you looked for in the script from Sean, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it there. I mean, that trying to make him that's somebody that people can relate to, and what we were talking about earlier about, these were just normal guys who were fighting for something that they fiercely believed in. A lot of that work, thankfully, is done for me on the page, because Sean and Anthony have written a fantastic script, and all the human flaws and all the things that make him, a tangible person and someone that the everyman can relate to are on the page, which is kind of great, and they're not. They're heroes in a sense of what they did, and but they very much on the page you see that they are flawed, and they have very human aspects to them that would hinder trying to carry out an exercise like this, and we follow those, we follow these guys really closely, and we get to see, it's warts and all, and we get to see how difficult a mission this is for them. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not really my place to say, people are going to look at it from both sides. Ultimately, I think it was sent a very strong message to show that the Czech people were up for a fight and weren't willing to be treated in that way. And for me, I see that as a very, very heroic act. And I think if I was in that position myself, I probably would have done the same thing. I have a strong understanding of why people see it the other way based on events afterwards. But for me personally, I think ultimately they had to do what they had to do and the way they had to do it, and probably more good came out of it than bad.
I would like to ask Mr. Dornan why he thinks people are still so fascinated by the stories from the Second World War. Thank you.
Pretty big event.
As world events go.
Events that shape the world, people are never going to be tired of them. They never grow old. It's never inappropriate to retell stories that have had such a massive impact on life beyond the event. So, they'll continue to be made, and stories that have meant such a massive change post them happening are always going to be relevant. So there'll always be an appetite for it, I think.